Okay, let's get into this. Have you seen the Lenovo Go? Have you seen anything about this new portable coming?
Bro, it's like you're speaking my language, as you know, because this is the kind of stuff I'm into, and a lot of people have been messaging me about it. What I find super interesting about it is the fact that all the messaging seems to be like Xbox centric. What do you think?
I agree. It looks like this is another handheld that Xbox is aligning with to kind of push Game Pass. It's front and center. I saw it on the trailer. I also see it on the website that they're kind of front and center with Game Pass. So it's just another push, I guess, from the Xbox brand to get themselves kind of cemented into this handheld market that's booming right now. I mean, everybody's getting their hands on it. Tell me a little bit what you think about, Lenovo throwing their hat in here, because it's not a surprise. We're just going to see this more and more. But tell me about this particular device. Tell me some of the things. Have you heard about it? You need me to go over some of the specs for you to kind of for me to pick your brain on this?
So yeah, I mean, I can give you some of the broad strokes, right? So as you know it, this is basically, if Apple did a reference design, right, and everybody was going to follow Apple's lead, this is what they would do, right? It's your exact idea. It's your stereotypical quote unquote idea where you have, first you have Lenovo get involved, same exact specs as all the others, right? It's exactly the same specs as your ROG Ally, only with a little bit of a twinge. Same specs as the Aya Neos of the world and the AKO Zoes of the world. Yes, it has the Z1 Extreme, but the Z1 Extreme is basically the 7000 series chip. That's all it is, basically, right? So what they're doing here is what can they bring to the magic, right? And I mean, I see some interesting things here. The RAM will be the same, the storage will be the same. You can probably have variants of that, 512, 1 terabyte, all that stuff. What memory bandwidth they offer. What I find interesting here is the controllers and the screen, and unfortunately the battery. Right? So the controllers, interesting, right? You like, the first thing you wonder is why the heck would they make it this kind of Joy-Con style thing, right? The Joy-Con has a reason to be removed, right? You can turn it into side controllers for kids. My kids use it all the time, right?
I think I know why. I think I know why.
Well, this is the thing. For some reason they do this, and upon initial blush, you're like, oh, it's a what do you call it? A flash in the pan kind of feature, right? But then it looks like they're allowing for mouse movement, like more precise aiming in there. It's their version of the gyroscope, right? Which we shall see if it works. But it's interesting, it's interesting. See, and as you see on the screen right now, they're implementing that. It's interesting, right? My only concern, right, and let's be clear, I love the big screen. I'm Mr. Big on AKO Zoe because they have that 8-inch screen. This is 8.8-inch screen. It's a monster screen. I'm loving that, right? Problem is, for like the big problem that the ROG Ally receives, the crap that people give it, right, is the fact that as good as it is, it has a terrible battery, and that's a 40 watt-hour battery, right? Same exact 40 watt-hour battery that was put into the Valve Steam Deck, right? That's actually where it started, when we were like, come on guys, you could have done better than that, right? So what does Ally do? They put the same watt-hour battery in and give it more power, which means less battery life, right? That's just logical, right?
Yeah.
These guys go, okay, we'll do you one better, right? 8.8-inch screen versus a 7-inch screen, 144 hertz versus 120 hertz, right? And they gave it 9.2 watt-hour battery more, so 49.2 watt-hour battery.
Yeah.
At that size of screen and that 144 hertz display and all of this, and obviously this is not just 1080p. It gives you many resolutions between 720 and 1080p, and I think it goes even a little bit above it. I think it's 900 and something, 1200p or whatever.
Yeah, it's actually the maximum resolution that we got here is 2560 by 1600.
There you go. If you use this device the way it's meant to be used, and not like, oh, I'm going to dumb it down so it feels like it has the specs of a Steam Deck, it will last just as long as the ROG Ally, which is not long at all. That's my problem, right?
My
AOK Zoe say what you will about it. That AOK Zoe had a 65 watt hour battery, right? You want to start big because your screen is monstrous, right? That's the only thing I see here. And my man, Mr. Everbone Saga on GCP this weekend tried to clown me, saying, "Oh, of course you're gonna buy this. You're a tech guy. You're gonna buy all of them." And I said it on that show, and I'm gonna say it on this show. As long as this thing is not given to me a free 99 in my hand, I'm not gonna be purchasing. Yes,
Lenovo, go ahead and hit us up. We'll be glad to review this for you. But if
they put a monster battery in it, I'd be talking different. Because the battery is what the clincher is for me.
Yeah,
it is a no-go for me.
And okay, so the Joy-Cons that they're kind of implementing with this, I think that they're multifaceted, right? I think that they're trying to do exactly what you said, which is the little mouse.
They want to be mouse movement, precise aim.
Yeah. It looks like they want to kind of aim for that gimmick, and as well, it looks like they really want to push that the glasses with the screen, that it's going to be their own version towards the end of the trailer.
That is a no-go, sir. That's a no-go. Like, seriously. Take it from a guy, and yes, this is what's going to completely like ruin my point about me not getting it. Here we go. Take it from a guy who owns one I got for review, one I bought myself, the two top brands in the AR glasses space, which is the X-Real Air and Rockied makes one, and they both have like these exact glasses, right? You can use the same existing glasses that are in the market right now on those things. It's just USB-C compatible. There's no need for you to buy custom version for these guys for it to work, unless they tell you that it does something secret sauce, which honestly, between you and me, I would trust the X-Real and the Rocket more because they've been doing the groundwork. Lenovo is like walking in here with no experience trying to tell you that they're better at it. So real quick, I will say you asked me on the point of Lenovo, like how they are in this game. They used to be part of IBM. IBM basically sold them off. They're now independent. They are very big in the independent in the enterprise space, I should say.
Yes, they are.
In the enterprise space, they are big, right? We all deal with Lenovo machines all the time. But in the consumer space, I don't know, man. I don't think I trust them even more than I trust Asus, right? I don't know, man.
I'm with you.
They made a good-looking product, no doubt. But we'll see. You know, that's where
the thing that concerns me about these Joy-Con things is that one thing about the battery that they're selling is that it's a 49.2 watt per hour battery, and that it has super rapid charge express. They're trying to sell that as if the other products don't have that, or some form of super rapid charge. And then I think, like I said, I think that their big push is going to be that the AR glasses, they want you to kind of they're trying to sell those AR glasses with you and try to make it seem as if hey, you can remove the Joy-Cons and you don't have to be carrying this heavy device, just the Joy-Cons, which, you know, there might be someone out there that
no, hold on now, let's be clear, let's keep it a buck. You're not using this with just the screen and the glasses.
No.
The Joy-Cons and the glasses.
Yeah, no.
You plug it into the big ass base.
Yeah, no, I get you, but I guess the idea is that you can put the screen,
the base down,
and then you can just
use
have
the Joy-Cons in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like a twist on the switch. I mean, look, we're getting to a point now where it's becoming gimmicky with some of the things that Lenovo's trying out here. And I think that what we really want as consumers, if these companies are listening, we don't want gimmicks, we want battery, because that's the biggest Achilles heel for this market. So cut back on the gimmicks, give us more battery life, and you're gonna have a winner. I mean, that's just
let me give you my last, well, actually, to your point about they want to sell the idea of just Joy-Cons in your hand, not this heavy device. Well, actually, technically, if you have, you love it. You love it when I do that. If you have yourself a ROG Ally right now, and you happen to have the X-Real glasses, and your kids or somebody also owns a Switch, you could do all that right now today, because the Switch can connect via Bluetooth. Plug your ROG Ally glasses in, the glasses into the ROG Ally, put the Ally on the floor or sitting on the table somewhere, and then you have Joy-Cons in your hand, glasses on your face. No need to control it.
And you can play Zelda.
That's selling right now.
360p on the big screen in your face.
Well,
Okay.
there you go. What they're selling right now may not be what you want. So there you go.
Welcome everyone to episode 11 of the Gamers Playground. We have named this episode the Edge, the PC Edge. We're going to be talking today about Starfield. We had a big launch. I think everyone right now is kind of enamored with the game. Everyone that's pretty much played it on early access. If you guys purchased that through Xbox or through Steam, so that's kind of like the talk of the town. That's been what pretty much every show has covered. I want to say hello to everyone that has joined us so far. Of course, Mr. Joanna Dark in the chat super early, even before we started. He's on vacation. I accidentally called him today because I wanted to ask him a question. He's like, I'm still on vacation. I'm like, oh, my bad. Call me tomorrow. But so I'll be talking to him tomorrow about some cool stuff. And then of course, Kirby Louise in here with some interesting post here. It looks like he's giving us a little story here. Very, very intriguing here. And then we have hello Oscar. Thank you so much for joining us. Kay, how has your week been? I know that we've both been kind of busy with work and stuff in real life, and we chat almost every day, so we kind of know what's going on. But let the good folks know what you've been up to and what the last week has pretty much been for you.
Bro, man, I have to tell you, like, when I said this on another show, and I really think it holds true here, when you really, really want to do something, that's when the universe conspires against you. Mm-hmm. Since its release date, all I've wanted to do was play more and more Starfield. And of course, because of that is never available to me. Starfield has not been available to me because life keeps happening.
Kirby Louise is having the same look as you.
So life just keeps happening. Yes. Life just keeps happening to me. I can't help it. But the goal is more and more Starfield. That's what I've been trying to play. Been enjoying it. I've been playing it on the old ROG Ally. Been playing it on the PC. Been playing, oddly enough, not as much on the console. But that's not to slander the console. It's just that this is the type of game that you want to play, sit down and have time to play. And of course, since I haven't had that time to play, I take it with me wherever possible.
Right.
So it's being played more and more on the ROG Ally than almost anything else. But when I get a chance to, I also play it on the beefy PC on the 4090 and melt my own face every once in a while.
Gotcha. I started playing this game on my 4070. I then moved over to the Xbox Series X, and then since then I've tried it a few times. I've tried it on the Asus ROG Ally with the eGPU, but I've mostly played my 13 hours now that I've played, that I've been able to put into it. I want to say I've played a good 10 on the 4070. And we're gonna get into it, okay? Because we got a lot to cover about the game. This week we're going to be a little light on the other segments because, to be honest with you guys, Starfield has kind of taken over our lives here and work and stuff like that. But me and Kay have been talking over the past week. We were setting up to set up some big things here for the channel. I know that we're going to be thinking of an idea for the Backlog Brothers. Kay, you want to tell the good peeps what we're thinking about doing with that segment?
So yeah, we were thinking about it, and like we love the fact that a lot of folks venture into our channel and come check us out. And oh, by the way, if you are checking us out on our channel, Mr. John Wolf, while doing a great job as host, has been a little diligent in his duties in not informing you that you can also watch this show on the John Wolf YouTube channel now.
Yep.
Because we are now spreading it out. We want to make sure that you can access it wherever you happen to be. So we're now simulcasting both on my channel and on Mr. John Wolf's channel. And in that respect, we're going to try, and by the way, I'm flipping over to my own personal Starfield footage.
Oh, there you go.
We're going to try from now on to, whenever we have a good Backlog Brothers segment, maybe we broadcast it live. Maybe we stream it so that the public can be a part of it.
That's right.
So if it's a multiplayer game, maybe y'all can jump in and play with us, something like that. It's still a work in progress. Obviously, grown folk with grown folk problems, but at some point, I'm sure that's what we're going to get into, and people are going to hopefully be able to join us.
That's right. So this is what we want you guys to do in the chat. Put up some ideas what you guys would like us to cover on the Backlog Brothers for our next show next week on Monday. And then Kay, if you can, put up a poll, and whoever try to put out there at least 4 games, right, Kay? That's what the poll allows. Is it 3 or 4? I'm not sure right now.
Sure.
Between 3 and 4 games, guys, just throw them out there. I see Mr. Joanna Dark already has a Heavenly Sword up there. I've never been in that game. Actually, I've gotten like 3/4 done about 2 times, but I've never played that game complete. Okay. So that's a good contender. So give us at least 2 more games in there, guys, so that we can put up a poll, and then the winner of that poll will be the game that we decide. And me and Kay will do our best to get things set up so that we can stream it, we can multi-stream it, and you guys can be in the chat and we can interact and we can all laugh of the quality of the game, depending on the game. Is it funny? Like, is it a good game? Or,
all that?
Yeah.
You can laugh at all the terrible gameplay. Understood.
Exactly. And all of our woes, we can laugh at each other, any crashing and stuff like that. So it'll be a good time, guys. I think that's something that we all, can have a good time at. And all right, Kay, let's talk about this past weekend. You had, of course, the Gaming Circle podcast with Everborn Saga with your other co-host on Saturdays, as well as Epic Treasure. That's her full name, right? Epic Treasure?
That's what it is, yes. And you had her on the show on the Gamers Council, actually, on Sunday, if I'm mistaken.
Yes.
Right? Continued that conversation. Now, am I wrong, or and shout out to Epic Treasure. She did a great job. She came on. We had a great time. And obviously, she's in Australia, so it started at like midnight. You know what I mean? So by the time it got to, we were done, she was kind of loopy. It was almost over. Oh, shout out to the man, Noof Nukem in the chat.
Oh, Noof. What's up? What's up, brother? Noof is such a great community member.
Absolutely. She was doing her best to keep it together. Because, she's Australian. They like to swear. So,
yeah.
I heard on Gamers Council, she let it fly, baby.
Yeah, no, she did. And we kind of, and let me tell you something. Look, Web Dave is a cool guy, and he's silent, but man, that man is deadly. He can bring the smoke with the best of us. So we had a good time yesterday. Go check out that show. Also check out the Gaming Circle podcast that's on Case Channel now. Check out that video on demand. They had a great show. They also talked about Starfield. They were just one day after release, so me and Kay are I guess you can say we have a broader opinion of the game now that we've had a full weekend to kind of reminisce and really sit down with it. So, all right, Kay, so let's get into it. Let's try to tackle this from in baby steps, right? I strategically wanted to send you the episode called The PC Edge because in my time of playing this game so far, again, I'm 13 hours into the game. In other words, you dipped a toe. I think I'm 2 days and some odd into this game now. Yes, definitely dipped a toe because this game is massive, guys. And pause, but it's this is a game, and this is what I've told everyone that I've kind of talked to. Take your time, guys. There's no rush here. I know that sometimes the FOMO gets to us to see if it proves the reviews wrong, to see if the reviewers were right and all that good stuff. And not everybody plays that way, but I feel like sometimes there's like this unsaid FOMO out there, right? That just hits people that you just want to rush through the story and you want to move on to the next thing. But I'm telling you guys, I really do feel that Todd Howard was right when he was interviewed in Gamescom, and he said, take your time, and the more time you give into Starfield, the more that the game gives you. And I'm definitely seeing that, Kay. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I completely do. And shout out to Noof Nukem asking a question in the chat, just like you can. If you want to ask us a question, either put question or we see it, we'll pop it up on the chat and we'll answer it. Noof asks, so first impression, great, good, or pass? Honestly, it's a bit complicated. Yeah. If you are a space guy, if you love your space stuff, if I say this is like the best Expanse video game that the Expanse didn't make, and that excites you, this is a run, don't walk to go play, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll even say if this is a game that you're usually not used to, because, and we'll get into it. I've been describing it as, as other games pull from other games, they pay homage to this game, pay homage to that game. This literally has whole games in and of itself, different games in itself, right?
I agree.
You want to play No Man's Sky? There's whole No Man's Sky in this game for you.
Mm-hmm.
You want this to be Skyrim? Skyrim is literally in this game for you. If you want it to be Mass Effect, there is Mass Effect, literally whole cloth Mass Effect in this game for you. And you don't have to traverse them. You can play No Man's Sky by itself in this game and never cross the streams to any of the other games, or vice versa. Or you can play them all at the time, however you see fit. So I think this thing is much like Hogwarts grabbed the zeitgeist as a gamer's game. I think this is that. It's a gamer's game. It has so much to offer. You have to try it for yourself.
And here's the thing about this game so far that I've kind of noticed across the board. Everyone's experience is going to be completely unique. So what I've experienced so far in my 13 hours is completely different. Of course, there are some things, like the beginning of the game and stuff like that. That's.
I'm gonna just leave that chat right there. I'm not even going to address it. Just leave it there.
Yeah, there you go. I agree. I agree that Captain that Shepard's doing stuff in our pants for sure.
Okay.
So for sure, my 13 hours compared to your first 13 hours, besides the stuff that we have to run through at the same time, is going to be completely unique and different than everyone else's on this chat. And I think that that's something about this game that's very unique, and why this game is so polarizing. Okay, because at the end of the day, there's no denying that once you play the game for yourself, you will see what a polished a product this is, because there's no denying that it is a polished product, but just some of the gameplay mechanics, some of the way that you interact with the world, with the characters and stuff like that, your mouse will vary depending on the type of gamer you are. Are you the type of gamer like I've been, that I have literally I'll give you an example. Every time I've gone inside a corridor, whether I'm fighting enemies or whatever it is that I'm doing, I've taken the time to appreciate the work that they did in the environment, and the world feels very lived in. It feels like if it is a very a good representation of. I feel like the artists in this game and the team at Bethesda really did a great job of making you feel like you're part of the world. Like when you're walking through one of these corridors or through one of these space stations, you feel as if you're really there. So
look at the fire. Look at the fire coming off of the spaceship right now. It feels like stop motion 70s.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's a great point. Yeah,
cool,
and I'll get there, because I think that they kind of went with a style there. But but like I'll give you an example. Like yesterday, right? I was inside a room there, and I just I was scanning as many all the things on the shelf, because I wanted to see if there was anything useful, and I come across like some vegetables. And I zoom in, and dude, the most realistic onions and like just ball of lettuce that I've ever seen in any game.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely detailed. And then I look at the chair, and like the chair had some like a surface to it. Like, that type of surface like when you touch the material, that it has kind of like it, like that it's kind of bumpy. And it has like little rocks in it, or not little rocks, but like, yes. Well, when it feels like you can literally kind of push your hand through it. And that's how the environment, that's what I think that the artist did so well here. Like even when you have close-ups of the suits, right? When right now, because of the footage, it's in 1080p thanks to Kay, and we're doing things on the show, we're upgrading the show little by little for you folks. But
upgrades, ladies and gentlemen, upgrades. That's
right. Even when you go close-ups on the suits and stuff like that, the details of the cloth and all that stuff, I mean, they did such a great job to make you feel like if you're really part of the universe. And that's something that I'm getting kind of immersed into. I don't know, Kay, if you kind of agree with that, or what your take on kind of like what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Now, like people had made a lot of hay about, you know, the way the faces look and the way things are, but you have to give the developers credit here. Like from a tactile detail perspective, man, like everything feels like you're looking at a character right now on screen, right? Every piece of that cloth, every piece of that outfit, if you zoom in, it feels like it's stitched on, not bolted on. You know how games kind of color in depth. This is not colored in depth. You can feel the layers. You can see the layers. It is so detailed, and so much so that I think that sometimes you sacrifice some facial expression, right? Sometimes depending on when you're playing the game, you see the world and you're just like, they could have done a little bit more in the facial area and whatnot.
Yeah.
But even that does not take away from its brilliance. It is so well done. Like whoever we want to talk and find out who's responsible for the guns, right? Every gun is scratched up, dirty, like used. Like there's nothing shiny in this world. This is the most like gritty sci-fi you can get, and that's what I'm about. That's all I'm about, right? I love that The Expanse. You heard me say. What's the other one? There are a bunch of games that speak to this kind of aesthetic, right? Not shiny sci-fi, but lived-in sci-fi.
More like more like a Dead Space type of sci-fi.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
like that. Like the irony type. You know what I'm saying? That things are metal in the environment and stuff like that, and rusted and stuff like that. So there's been portions of this game, and I mentioned this yesterday on the Gamers Council.
Gamers Council,
it early on through these corridors that you get into in these space stations that you dock into, I've literally felt like if I was playing Dead Space and I'm like looking around and I'm like, okay, is there going to be like a jump scare coming up? Because it's just the environment is very, they did such a good job on the environment. And that's okay. Now that we talked a little bit about some of the game, this is where I'm going to transition a little bit up to why the PC is kind of, you know, we all know that the PC is going to give you a better experience because you pay more for a PC, so you expect better. But this is what I've seen differently, hands-on my time between the PC version of this game and the Xbox Series X version. Okay. Let's get into quickly. Let's take this in strides. Let's get into the graphics. Okay, have you had a chance? I know that you started playing on your Asus ROG Ally. Then I believe you played it on your Monster rig. Have you had a chance to try this?
Here's the thing. So let me give you the broad strokes here. And
sure.
And before we get into it, let me first preface by saying I am surprised at how well this plays where it plays. Right?
I agree.
There was a lot of hay made about, the system's on a system is upon a system. There's just no way that this thing can run at the way it's supposed to run because it's just so complicated. Like you can't see it really well in the teeny tiny corner of the screen that you're looking at my footage right now. But I guarantee you right there, that CPU is bored. Like he went for a sandwich. He ain't back yet. Right. And still the GPU is having a hard time. He's at 99% usage. CPU didn't climb to even double digits.
That's surprising to me.
And all the while, this is 4K footage. This is not upscaled. None of that. This is just, I turned FSR off, full fat. Let's see how we going. This is on a 120 hertz screen. I was averaging about 90, right? Hitting the 120 sometimes, going a little lower, but I was averaging around 90 frames per second, while the CPU was like, what are we doing here? Do I need work? Is there something to be done? No, he was sleeping. Okay. Yep. So I say all that to say Series S and X 60 frames patch incoming. Either they will do it, or the consumers will or the modding community will present one as quickly as possible because this thing can handle it easily. And to that point, played it on the big monster first. Don't do that. Don't do that if you have the option to. because when your eyes get used to that 90 some odd frames, the 60 the 30 frames really like pop. When you first start.
Well, do you want to know something that's happened to me on this game that I was kind of surprised when I wanted to do an analysis and try it on the X. I give them credit because the motion blur that they included in this game, it does a good job of masking some of that. Now,
so what I was going to say was after 20 minutes, you couldn't tell the difference anymore with the series, the 6 to 30 and all of that. So at least from the smoothness perspective, it's like that. The best way I've been able to describe it is like that Forza Horizon 30 frames, where you can tell this hardware has a lot more overhead. They're just choosing to limit it for one reason or another. Yeah. It's got a lot more in the tank. So even on the S, I played it on the S, played it on the X, been playing it on the ROG Ally, and played it on the Monster Machine. It really just is butter. It's smooth as butter, right? But to your point and your question about like what you get on X versus S versus consoles versus PC, you definitely see the lighting. You know, it's a different beast when you're playing it on the PC. Like it's a different monster when you're playing. The lighting alone is just jaw dropping on the PC. But what has your experience been?
Yeah, kind of like the same as you. I have seen performance wise, right? Graphic wise, 100%. I do see such an uplift when you're running the game on ultra and even high, to be honest with you, because I have it on high on the Asus ROG Ally with the eGPU, and the only place that I seen the frames dropping that it takes a big hit is when you're in the open areas, like in, you know, when you land on the cities and on the planets and you're ready to explore out there. And obviously it's rendering more, it's doing more work. So that's understandable. And I understand that, you know, this game is going to get patched not only by the community, but I really feel like the team, given more time, it's just going to, you know, upgrade and patch it even more.
Let's speak on that for just a moment, just for a moment, because it brought up a very interesting conversation to me. Remember, we sat here some time ago and we were like, this whole 30 frames locked on console thing, that is not a design decision. We said that, right?
Yes, we did.
Right? On the flip side, I think the whole you can't take off or land by yourself, it's all cutscenes thing, that is a creative decision. And even if they could do it, it's not worth them spending the time doing it. That is a thing where we can see that maybe the community might patch something like that in. But Bethesda would be fine just leaving it as that forever. What do you think?
I think so as well. I think that is a great example what you just said. That is a creative design choice that they made, because to them, I'm sure that they probably had something on the whiteboard, something like that. But in practice, maybe you know, whoever was testing out the game and their internal teams just thought this is going to get boring. Like, you know, after you see it
fast after a while.
Yeah, it's gonna get kind of stale after a while, and it's gonna lose its luster, and then people are just gonna be skipping it anyway. So let's use the work towards something else. So if you tell me that they traded that to work on more details in the environments, I rather take the more details in the environment, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Because remember, everything, whether it be, you know, performance or development, everything is trade-offs in life, right?
Indeed.
So
absolutely.
So if they needed to kind of sacrifice that to bring us more immersion, absolutely, they are forgiven by me, and that's okay. But like you said, there's gonna be the Thanoses out there that are gonna snap it into reality, and we're here for that too, right? Because at the end of the day, that's why PC is you know the what it is, and that's why people, they're not satisfied, and they're going to take it upon themselves to make sure that it is the game that they want. So let me okay, so about performance, right, because we kind of touched up on the graphics here. Performance wise, what do you think, and this is where we're going to get into kind of like me asking you some questions. Why do you think that there's such a drop right now, if you had to guess, on these areas that we're landing on, and then all of a sudden, obviously it's not a corridor, so it's not like a closed up section, so I kind of know the answer, but why do you think that it takes such a dip? Like, I'm over 100 in the hundreds in these corridor sections, and then boom, when I hit one of these cities, I'll drop down, you know, transitions to the 50s, and then it'll even out between 65 and the 80s, and vice versa.
So I can give you the straight shot answer. And of course, salute to the man Kirby Zero Louise. He says, speaking of Starfield on PC, how about that loser who put DRM on the LSS3 mod injection? And then people cracked it within days.
Yeah, I haven't looked into that, but I heard something about that today. But I don't know. I don't know details.
Yeah, the community will be what the community will be. So about the idea that it loses its thing real quick. I could give you the level-headed, layered, quote unquote, measured answer, but I'm gonna go off of the beaten path and give you a little bit of a slanderous answer. All right?
Okay.
Because that's the mood I'm feeling right now. I'm gonna give you a slanderous answer. My slanderous answer is the reason why the game seems to not hit the frame rates it should as soon as you get into open areas is possibly because, at least on console anyway, PlayStation's holding it back.
Oh, you're gonna get into that conversation. Okay.
No. I'm just messing. No, I've said this multiple times, right? They started this thing as a third-party project, right? And as a third-party project, you can't hone in on one side versus another. You got to stay middle of the road, right? If you don't believe that this thing started with PlayStation as a target, I got a bridge to sell you. It definitely did, right? And because it started that way, you can't focus all of your energy on various tools that will offset some of these heavy weights, right? You just can't, right? And even with PlayStation not in the mix, to be fair, on the PC, the sole PC side of the house, there still isn't every piece of hardware that can handle all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, if they use mesh shaders, for example, not all cards support mesh shaders. So you won't get the benefit of all of that either. So because, this is a project for mass consumption and wasn't focused on one platform on console side and one platform on PC side, right? You got to do what you got to do, right? That's why this is one of the rare games that says you need an SSD as a minimum requirement, right? And even there, you still see some dips. But I bet, give it time, this is Microsoft we're talking about. Direct storage APIs may be implemented at some point within this development. I was talking to Everborn about it. This game is one of those games where, unlike, say, Redfall, where it had a horrible reception, they'll kind of exit stage left and not really want to pay any attention to this thing existing. This game is a hit by all measures. Absolutely. So I have a feeling we're going to see this thing be iterated upon and made better. We're going to start seeing it become No Man's Sky in the best way possible. And you know what I'm talking about. Their constant iteration, their 7 years of DLC, all that support. I think we're going to start seeing that. Absolutely.
So in going back to what you're saying, right? And I do agree with you largely. The only thing that I'll say is that it's this game, from what I'm seeing, it's bringing even monster rigs to its knees, because I know that you do have a 4090, and for the most part, it's been a very, very smooth experience. I've had for the most part, I haven't had any issues.
And hold on one second, not to be outdone. Salute to the Lawmaster, the developer in chief in the chat. Mr. Pixelbit G in here saying the SSD was to manage loading and that direct storage is already in use with most loading times very short. Absolutely, sir. I have seen very, very minimal loading time. You're absolutely correct on that. I hadn't poked around to see what protocol and implementation they were doing. So hearing that direct storage is actually in play here, that is good to know. Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So there you go. Apologies. Continue.
And Pixelbit was on Ham Solo show, I think on Friday. I listened to some of it while I was working. And let me tell you, he said something that's kind of true, and it's giving me a lot of Mass Effect vibes. And he recently played through Mass Effect, as he mentioned on that show. And I agree 100%. It's 100%. It gives you so many vibes of so different games, but it's its unique thing. And it's such a good game so far, Kay. I mean, the one common thread that I think everybody's feeling is that when you're not playing the game, you're thinking about the game. and that's usually a sign of a masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? In the making. So that's
I do not disagree. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's definitely something that whoever hasn't played it, like I saw Noof said he hasn't played it yet. Something that maybe you'll experience when you play it. You'll see that when you're not playing it, you'll be telling yourself, man, I kind of wish I was playing Starfield right now. And it kind of has that effect. So okay, that's good that you mentioned the performance. Now let's get into let's get into what you think besides the graphics and obviously the frames, because those two things on PC are givens. Okay, for a rookie like me, that's the reason that I play on PC, because I want more frames and I want it to look better. Talk to me about something that you mentioned to me the other day that even I had no idea what this.
Yeah.
Not only mods, because I've been aware of mods,
trainers and things like that. Okay, so let me hit you with this. So this was brought to my attention like many years ago. A buddy of mine who's a disability. He has disabilities. A disabled gamer, and in that world, and many of us may not have to necessarily deal with that world. And lucky for us, maybe at some point, as we all get older, we will become people who need a little assistance here, a little assistance there, and you hear it come up pretty often. And let's keep it fair here. In this game, accessibility features are not good. Like Microsoft is big on accessibility features in most things. This is barely, font increase, and that's about it. There's not much else as far as accessibility features. So my buddy,
I haven't paid attention to that, but
there you go. So that's one of those things, right? We on the various shows we talk about how games play in other places, marketing in other areas, also how people experience their games, right? Not everybody experiences it the same way.
That's a good point.
We can handle it. We have the thumbs, we have the dexterity. Some people may have issues there. So some games are really good in that area. Some games not so good, right? And if you're a disabled gamer and you have to rely on a game to game basis, sometimes that's really difficult for you, right? You can't. Sometimes you buy a game and then you find out that it's not really something you can play, and you're already however many dollars into it. So Game Pass has really helped in that respect, and also features like this have already helped. There is a tool and this is just one of many tools. I saw Kirby Louise in the chat earlier mentioning some of them already. We have Cheat Engine. There's many different things, but the one that he uses, the one that he put me on, and I will share that right now, is a tool called WeMod. You can find it online. It's just type in WEMOD, WeMod, and what you're looking at right now is the front end of WeMod, and literally it's a who's who of games, who's who of what game you want to play. And my buddy uses this because in certain games he can't press a button multiple times, so maybe the game does not offer turbo mode or something like that, and you can force it in this instance, right? In certain instances, just all of the various quirks that sometimes developers put in place as their game, right? And as a normal gamer, you learn to traverse it, you become good, you figure it out, you're fine. But not every gamer has the capabilities to traverse some of those divides. So that's where something like WeMod comes in. Now, as you see, there's a bunch of games here listed. Let's focus solely on Starfield. You click on it, right? It's kind of tiny, so you won't be able to really see what they're showing you, but I can describe what we're talking about here. So they have it labeled in various sections, right? God mode, infinite health, infinite jetpack boost, infinite oxygen.
Infinite ammo. That's a big one, the oxygen.
No reloading, right? Infinite energy weapons, set movement speed, set jump height, prevent getting injured when you drop, right? Wow. Defense multipliers, all the stuff on your ship that you can tweak. Edit credits. You can give yourself more or less credits. Zero weight, so you can carry like literally everything on your back and not feel like you're encumbered, right? You can literally turn this on, and then you can carry like 400 items, and the game will still say, "Hey, you got 0 items in your bag," and you won't have what's her face, Sarah, hunting you down. And would you stop grabbing all that junk? Yeah. Shut your mouth there, Sarah.
Yeah, exactly. She's constantly bragging,
Constantly
asking me.
bugging you because I'm a hoarder. I'm a digital hoarder. No, let me keep my stuff there, Sarah. Shut your mouth so you can turn this on, and it'll block all that for you, right? And here you go. You know, one hit kills, all this other stuff. Now I see conversations going on in the chat about that as well. What you have to be careful is, and this is community driven. This is not officially sanctioned. But by and large, I don't see people get in trouble for using this unless you're trying to use it in like a multiplayer game where you know, fair is fair. If you do something like this, they will hunt you down and they'll cut you off at the knees, and rightfully so. Yeah.
Right? We don't suggest that you go to any multiplayer. You know, don't look for Modern Warfare 2 here. Not that I haven't been tempted.
I mean, you can do it. You can do it, but good luck to you when they roast you and they ban your account, and there you go. You got a game you paid for, you love, and it's a paperweight.
Yeah, and be careful because Xbox now, they're really with the whole, you know, just trying to clean up stuff. They're not giving anybody chances, and they're flagging you right away. So
they're taking no crap. So as you can see, look, Jedi Survivor has it. You know, all these games, a bunch of games, games you know, games you don't know. Obviously, I have a bunch of games in my system. So as soon as I installed it, it saw a bunch of the games that I already have and like attached itself to it. You know, it's not to be used for everything. I've actually when my buddy, I called him up and he told me specifically about encumberedness. I used it to test it out. I'm like, oh, that's great. And then as soon as I went, I rolled the character on Xbox. He was like, I took 2 steps. He goes, oh my God, because he has like 500 things.
That's awesome. Let me ask you this: does it, if you know the answer, if anybody in the chat knows, okay, will it disable your achievements from popping? Like, for example,
that's a good reason. There you go. Yeah. So this game, like Starfield itself, right, has a command center.
Kirby Luis got that Eddie Guerrero in him. Lying, cheating, and stealing, baby.
Latino.
That's what I'm talking about, Kirby Luis.
Yeah. So there are some cheats that are built in, and when you put those cheats in, right, you will get it will disable achievements, and that's on the PC side and all that. I haven't actually even tested it on the PC side yet. They might not have disabled that, but usually in general, when you have developer implemented cheats, they will inherently disable the achievos after you do that. Oh, so this will not disable achievements. Okay, so they haven't done that. But normally, when you have achievements built in and cheats also built in, they'll tell you, hey, if you enable this, you're disabling that, right? And it can happen. These, since they are community driven, they do not disable any achievements. They are above the game, so the game does not know it, right? Okay. So you can actually go in here and enable certain things. You know, people get wild. You can, turn on various things.
But do you want to know something? This is why PC again, for me, I'm so glad that I'm in this space with you guys now. I'll give you an example. Breath of the Wild, right? And even Tears of the Kingdom, and in what I've played of those games, the one mechanic that I could not stand was your weapons breaking. Okay,
I knew you were going to say that.
It is the most, and I understand why they do it, because it's the longevity of the game. It makes it harder for the player, whatever the case may be. It's annoying and it's not fun, right? And I want to play the game to have fun. So in Starfield, one of the things is the incumbent, like you said, that thing is a pain in the butt to try to figure out and to try to manage, because now you go from playing a game and having fun and exploring to being worried what's in your backpack.
Resource management.
Yes.
It turns into resource management, the game.
Exactly. Yeah. And I understand they want it to be realistic. They want you to think. They want you. But there's sometimes that I don't want to think. And that's the good thing about this, and the cool thing about this, that, you know what? I'm tempted for the no oxygen mod, because this is something from a design standpoint that I'll nitpick this about the game so far. And I literally just experienced this an hour before I came on the show, because I was playing. So there's about 1,000 yards that I have to get to. I land on a planet and I have to go somewhere that's 1,000 yards away. because I don't have unlimited stamina and my character right now is like a level 7. I haven't built up my fitness yet, so just like in real life, I get tired if I run here to the corner, you know. So it's weird how like my character in the game is kind of replicating my real life, but whatever. So the ability to kind of play around with me being able to disable that already gets me so excited because I know I'm going to enjoy the game more. You see what I'm saying? So these are like the little things that I'm all for, man. And this is exactly why the community, again, you're not happy with something on the PC space and you say, you know what, we're going to do something about this.
That's right. You can change it. So for those,
what's up, Umbra?
Unaware, what's going on, Umbra? The man Umbra. We should have him on the show at some point. He's a PC centric dude these days as well. He plays on console as well, but he also plays on PC from time to time.
He got that ROG Ally.
The man got the ROG Ally. So we should definitely do that. But yes, this is definitely a feature that people should use. You know, let's be real. Let's be clear. You know,
Pixelbit is right. Pixelbit is right, though. It is. I get that 100%. It's a game design. It's a role playing game, and 100% you're right, Pixel. But there's just some times that I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I want to.
And there you go. So
but Pixel's right.
But let me bring it to you the way I brought it to you. Right. I actually was introduced to this by my buddy who's a disabled gamer. Right. And in those circles, this is the key between whether I'm going to be able to play a game or not. If you're a disabled gamer, certain games just don't have the features you need. You can't be pressing the buttons all the time, or you need certain specialty features that just aren't available on that game.
Yeah.
This is how to circumvent that and enjoy yourself. But let's be clear. Let's say you're not a disabled gamer, right? You're in this chat right now. You're talking to us. We're in a safe space, the gamers playground, where all gamers can come and play and enjoy themselves. I don't care, man. You could be not a disabled gamer. You could be a gamer that's on borrowed time. You know, you have a limited time. Life is hard. You can't do as much as you want to do. You know, I agree with Mr. Pixelbit G that you should at least, you know, respect the game enough to come to it and meet it at its level. But if you have no time and you got to get things done and you want to make it, you want to, you know, circumvent certain things for yourself, who am I to tell you what you can and cannot do? These options are available to you, sir.
Absolutely. If you want to keep it pure, 100%, nothing wrong with that. But I also think that there's an opportunity for, like, let's say, how about this? How about looking at it this way? Let's say that some of these reviewers out there, right? Let's say that they had the option to remove maybe the oxygen limitation, and that would have upped the score for them because they felt like if that was a hindrance on the game, even though
that's a slippery slope, sir.
I know. No. I know that, but I'm just saying, because remember, reviews are subjective. It's up to the person playing the game, and I would in a perfect world, if I know that I'm playing a role-playing game, these are things that I need to respect because it's the rules and regulation of said game, right? But let's say that me and you are talking and we're like, hey, you know what was a really bad design choice in this game? You
mean that Master Sword breaking at Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
The worst design decision ever. Yes.
Exactly. But again, understanding why it's there, because it's all about the chase, right? It's all about having that carrot in front of you that the developers need to make in order so that you feel rewarded, because that's what it's all about. It's a give and a take. But then here, this is the part. The player is taking control. We've now said, hey, developer, I respect what you're doing. I understand why you're doing it, but I'm not having fun with it. And I want to like your game, so I am going to do something about this one thing that you put in this game that I'm not make it enjoyable for myself. So I think that's because that's honestly what pushed me through Zelda. I hated that all my stuff was breaking. I thought it was, for me, it was not enjoyable. I was like, man, like, this is dumb.
So remember back in the day in Assassin's Creed, or remember when what do you call it? Forbidden West, like, patched in a thing where you no longer have to bend down and grab everything. or Assassin's Creed, you're basically on a horse, and as soon as you pass by a resource, it just picks it up automatically. Quality of life features. That's what this affords when they don't do it themselves.
Yeah.
Right. That's what this lets you do when they don't do it themselves. If resource gathering becomes a factor of the next 5 to 10 hours, you walking 2 seconds, grab, walking 2 seconds, grab, walking 2 seconds, grab, to the point where it's annoying. You can literally say, see this resource, make it infinite. Boom. Never have to grab it off the floor again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I agree with
now,
that.
let's be clear here, right? I know there are some out there who go, oh, the PC community, cheaters, they do this, they do that. This is grown ass man talk right here, right? You put your $70 on the line because you wanted an experience, right? And more than anything else, specifically with Starfield, your experience will be different than other people's experience. If you want to be monster OP from jump, right? If you want to start Sonic with all the Chaos Emeralds, be my guest. You'll be bored because you'll walk in there and murk everybody in 2 seconds and move forward. But this is an option that you have, and nobody should be able to slander you because of it. It is.
I was about to say exactly what Kirby Zero Luis just said. The only people who complain about cheaters are those who are jealous.
They can't do it.
They can't do it. I kind of agree. Like I remember being in that console mind space, and I remember thinking to myself, "Oh man, they're all, those PC gamers. They always find
dirty cheaters.
Ways, yeah, they always find ways to cheese the game or whatever." And it's and it's not understanding it with the lens that I do now. That it's you're just removing or adding things that will bring more quality of life things to the game to just make it more enjoyable for you. And to be honest with you, yeah, maybe there are people out there that they're like, you know what, I want to beat Starfield and I just want to beat the story and I don't want to deal with all this stuff and I just want to see what the game is about. All power to you. You spent the money, right? You spent the subscription. Go ahead, and as long as you're not ruining the experience for anyone else, I think that's perfectly fine.
Let's emphasize that point though. That last point that you just said, let's emphasize that. Let's keep it a buck, right? These are the options you have. But if you're going to be a person who's going to use this on like multiplayer games and to get an advantage over somebody else, you're the reason why PC gaming gets a bad rap. You're the reason why this is why we can't have nice things. So if you're doing that and you get called out or you get banned, good for you. You deserve it. This should be used for single player or for traversing your disabilities or your issues alone. Nothing more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't use it because it tends to make everything OP and then you get bored. Why bother even start it?
Yeah. Like for example, right? Like let's say that you're playing Elden Ring, for example. And I've grinded, I've played the game the way that the developers want, and some cheater comes in that he has a bunch of cheats and stuff like that, and he's just ruining the game for me because I'll never be able to match. He'll never run out of stamina and stuff like that. I mean, at that point, you're just picking. It's like that little kid with the magnifying glass on ants. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be that guy.
I saw somebody using this inside, and I know it was this because I've seen the description before. Super Shield inside Halo Infinite multiplayer. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna let you be. But you're gonna get yours eventually.
I mean, you're just asking for it at that point. I mean, and it just and that's a good example of get good. Okay, that's just get good, and keep on playing the game, and eventually with more practice you'll be able to get some kills. All right, so okay, I think that this is definitely something I'll be checking out because they're right now I'm still in the honeymoon phase of the game. I kind of don't want to enable any cheats. The only mod that I really want to take a look at with you is the DLSS mod. That's something that. That's something that we should check out, and then maybe we can talk about it next week to see if it really boosts performance on these NVIDIA cards. Let me ask you this. We're about an hour in. We were going to have a shorter show this week because obviously we want to get ourselves playing some more Starfield, and we want to get the good folks in the chat playing Starfield. So let's do a little bit of house cleaning here.
So one last thing before we go.
Oh,
that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I was going to ask. So right now we have Heavenly Sword and we have Hitman Absolution. Both amazing choices. Now, I'm gonna put it up in the chat, and I may want to add one more game to the mix, and I'm gonna put it in the chat, and then we're gonna decide what game we will be playing next week.
I have an idea.
If
I have a
possible,
suggestion.
we can stream it. Go ahead, give me one. Yeah.
Let's put up there also the one that we talked about, I think like 2 or 3 days ago. Let's put the Ascent on there as well. Okay, and maybe we can have someone. Maybe we can have someone from the community jump in with us, and we can stream that sucker.
Okay, so we have it in the there's a poll in the chat right now. We're talking Hitman Absolution. We're talking Heavenly Sword or the Ascent, right? And specifically the Ascent, we can do a multiplayer session for 4 teams, 4 players strong, right? Get on here and really see what's up, what's what. So check it out. Put your thoughts in the poll, and we'll see what's what. Maybe we'll play one of those before next week.
Yep, for sure. And I remember Hitman Absolution. That game is pretty good. Let me tell you, I remember playing that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You remember the trailer that Agent 47 gets to like the front of that church, and all the nuns are coming down. That was a pretty badass trailer. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I do. I do recall. Yes.
Wow.
We have 4 views, so 4 votes right now, and it's even Steven. So y'all got to jump in there and start voting, because we need to pick which one we're gonna do.
Got to pick one.
Yes.
And if we have a tie, what we'll do, we'll since we're kind of like the host, we'll kind of pick one. Okay.
Sure. No worries.
That's what we'll do with that. Okay. So, Kate, what else do you have planned for this week? What other shows will you be appearing on? I know that for sure. I believe Double Barrel Gaming, of course, on Wednesdays, right? That's kind of like our home away from home for both of us.
Indeed. I will be on PTG this week. And obviously there'll probably be more Starfield talk. I'm going to watch The Expanse. I'm going to watch The Mandalorian. I'm going to watch Battlestar Galactica. I'm going to watch Proteus. No, my bad. I'm just going to play Starfield and get all that in one. That's literally what I'm going to do.
And what do you think of Everborn deleting No Man's Sky from his Xbox? You think that?
So real quick before we get out of here, that is one thing that was hilarious. So shout out to her once again. We had Epic Treasure on the show. Great conversation, great person. We had her on the show. And one thing that I did not know was that Epic Treasure is a monster No Man's Sky fan. I did not know this when I brought her on. I too have been known to play a little bit of No Man's Sky. So of course, Mr. Everborn Saga wants to bring on his bit of slander, and she wasn't having it, ladies and gentlemen. She would. I just had to sit back, fold my arms, and went, "Thank you, job is done here." She's like, anybody that sees that trailer and does not do the comparison has a screw loose. There's just something wrong with that.
and you know what? Let's get into it a little bit here before we go. Let's have this conversation that we had. Sure. Okay, this is just hilarious. Now that Starfield Early Access is out, people are gonna have it in their hands in a few days. Yep. Here's the thing. So about 3 weeks ago, or maybe a month now,
he's gonna lay it out.
Yeah, because I mean it's just comical, and the thing is that these are the conversation, guys, that we need to have as a community, and not automatically just jump to conclusions and jump the gun. That's why me and Kay have kind of kept it under wraps, and we wanted people to get their hands on the game first and stuff like that, which I think was the right way to do this. So I remember about three or 4 weeks ago, I'm pulling up to Panera for breakfast, right? And I'm in the drive-thru, and there's a car in front of me, and I pull up my cell phone and I open up. I have like a Steam, like notifications for them to send me stuff when stuff is on sale, and they just so happen to send me No Man's Sky. Okay, that No Man's Sky is on special because, of course, they're trying to promote themselves, piggybacking off the Starfield hype. So, excuse me. So, I've never really paid attention to No Man's Sky besides 2013 when it was first introduced, and then it launched. I tried it out for a little bit, and then I was like, this game is not for me.
Cautionary tale. Nobody ever paid attention to it again.
Yeah, not for me, right? So then I take a look at the latest trailer that they're hyping up their DLC, and I just start cracking up to myself in the car. And I call Kei Asante immediately, and I'm laughing and he's like, John, what's up? And I go, Kei, I literally had a flashback of you because me and Kei Asante, Mr. Boomstick was nice enough to have me and him be part of the E3 2022. Was it 2022? Yeah, right, Kei? 2022 presentation of the Xbox.
I think it was 2019 when they first showed any bit, even a little bit of No Man's Sky. Or I'm sorry.
No, actually, I think it was 2022, Kay, because remember that they had a trailer in 2022 and then it was delayed.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Because the 2019 or whatever one, that was the one that was just the GIF of the of the satellite. I hear you. Okay.
Correct. And then in 2020, they showed the trailer of the lady going into the ship that was using the engine, the real in-game engine and all that good stuff. So
you know what? Hold on. Although he's being slanderous, I kind of agree with this man, right?
Who's that?
Pixelbit G. Starfield has No Man's Sky as a mini game. Yes, it has No Man's Sky as a mini game. It has Mass Effect as a mini game. It has it has all of them literally in this game. It's just hilarious. Anyway, continue. Yes,
and just earlier when I was mentioning just the details of the environment, check this out. Kay just went over a bunch of items that are just on the shelf. Everything has a name. I mean, in Bethesda fashion, man, they did such a great job here with this environment, and I have to give them props again. But let's get back to this story, right? So I'm cracking up. I call Kay and I tell him, Kay, I just had a flashback to E3 because I literally remembered word for word that while we were watching the review, okay, for Starfield, you were saying that it reminded you of Starfield, of No Man's Sky. And
AAA No Man's Sky, I said.
AAA No Man's Sky. And we were just laughing in the car because what happens with these types of comparisons is that, of course, they get weaponized by the other part. Okay, so unfortunately, the fanboys weaponize stuff like this, and then they use it as a way to kind of diminish the quality or make it seem like if it's just a clone or whatever the case may be. But that's not where me and Kay were coming from or why we were laughing. We're laughing because Kay literally said over a year ago, hey, this is kind of reminding me of AAA No Man's Sky. And it's so funny because as I'm looking at Twitter, I'm seeing the fanboys flame the just pour gas. Right? Yeah, and they're just pouring gas, and I'm like, okay, this is unbelievable. Like these guys, it's unbelievable how you can have the same conversation and it have different meanings. We're trying to have a genuine, honest conversation, and then of course these guys are weaponizing it. So it became kind of like a thing where now it's an elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about because if you do, everybody believes that
you're a pony.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're a pony and you agree with the narrative, and that's not what none of this was about. You know, it was just, hey, there's some elements here that are kind of, I mean, it's hard to deny that it
I'm just going to put this out here. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm going to lean really into it right now. I'm just going to lean in, you know?
Yeah. Now the thing about it is, look, here's the difference right here, right away, why this, you know, yes, there are
look at it. It's AAA No Man's Sky. AAA as a comparison.
You're not wrong on the surface, right? But the one thing, FTW is laughing, dude. They were literally cracking up, and then Kay in our private chat, because of course they were throwing virtual tomatoes at him and me.
Of course.
And of course, me, you know, I started pouring gas on the fire because that's the way I am with my Latino heat, you know, and everything. And then I started even saying that the first person view reminded me of Call of Duty just to bother them. Okay, just to bother everybody else.
Stop talking smack, man. Look at this first person view. It is very much like Call of Duty.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the suits and stuff, and some of the weapons remind me of Infinite Warfare.
The Zero G fight is so Infinite Warfighter. Like, come on.
And again, not diminishing anything from the game. They made it their own, and they made it work. Okay, so and again, this is an accomplishment.
They elevated everything that is there beyond its own station. They did.
Absolutely.
They took Mass Effect and they out Mass Effected. They took No Man's Sky, then they out No Man's Sky. They literally took all these source material and they went, you know what? We can put our Bethesda Stankonia on it and make it way better than what you know it to be, right?
Stankonia.
And that's what happened here, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't believe your lying eyes, this is ridiculous that you don't see the comparisons here. But yes, you're looking at an indie, variation compared to and when I say indie, I mean they're indie in the pursuits of in the pursuits of the visuals you see here, the every aspect. But make no mistake, Starfield has all of this in it. Yes. You can like you were describing. If you don't get your fitness right, you're not gonna be able to carry stuff. You're gonna be stuck. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be on a planet. You're not gonna have the right suit. You're gonna be depleted. All survivor stuff. People go, oh well, it's not a survival game. All of No Man's Sky systems are inside Starfield. You can make it a survival game if you so choose.
Elite Dangerous is in this game. Mass Effect, a little bit of Call of Duty from the aesthetics point of view of some of the costumes that I remember from Infinite Warfare. I played that game. Mm-hmm. I played a lot of it, so I remember. And the thing about it is that the comparison that I like to make is, let's think of Batman, the Arkham series, and Spider-Man. Okay, there's no doubt in anybody's mind that Spider-Man, the blueprint for that game.
And real quick, you see what's going on here. The person who made this, and shout out to them. I'll put this in the show notes. They switched No Man's Sky and Starfield logos, so people don't.
Oh man, but you see that's a cheeky humor that I appreciate. But I want to let me finish saying this, and then I'll say one more thing to kind of bookend this, right? So the comparison I like to make is, let's think about Batman Arkham as a franchise and as a series, what that did for the superhero genre that even Spider-Man piggybacked on and made it their own.
Look at Hogwarts. Hogwarts literally has that same exact combat, but it doesn't have anything to do with Spider-Man or Batman or any of that. They took those elements. Right?
And you have Mad Max, you have so many different examples of that. It doesn't mean that it's a carbon copy. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. It just means that it drew inspiration, right? So the how I'll bookend this is that, now with all that said, the difference between No Man's Sky and Starfield for me personally is that I haven't been able to put this game down, where No Man's Sky was like, I'm good. It has all of those great qualities and is such a polished product that I can see why so many people are enamored with it, and it's very exciting times for anyone playing this game.
So what I'll say to that is, what No Man's Sky is showing you is a proof of concept. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if one day we could have a game a sci-fi game that was just this cool, that could do all these things? Right? That's what No Man's Sky is showing you. What Starfield is showing you is, oh yeah, that proof of concept is now being put into action. Hey, if we're talking about sci-fi space exploration, it's No Man's Sky, but for real. Oh, we're talking about relationship building. It's Mass Effect, but in a very grounded way. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like all those other ideas were proof of concepts. They were interesting ideas that would one day come to fruition, right?
This looks pretty great too. This right here on the screen, this looks fantastic too. Let me tell you.
It is epic. So much so that, you know what I want now? Once we all hit the end game of Starfield, once we're all there and we all have our cool little suits and we all have our specialty blah blah blahs, which I won't mention, when we have all the things and we're ready to like go out and be and play New Game Plus proper, then I want a multiplayer. I want co-op. I want to be able to join my brothers on their ships. We can have an armada and head out there, just like No Man's Sky lets you do now. Now, I understand that that's not easily implemented here, right? The world is built a certain way, and you might break the world. There's a lot of logistical overhead to consider, but still, if possible, right? I want them to take the No Man's Sky lessons. Right?
I agree.
Allow for mechs. Allow for all that extra stuff. That would be epic, and it would be the lesson that Halo Infinite didn't take. Right? You're done. You let us use our characters that are in game right now that we're building up, that each have different stories and different costumes and different armor and all of that. Once we've hit the end game content where all of us are unique in our own way, bring us together. Let us all join one map one place. Maybe it's a separate mode where, you know, it joins online only capabilities, right? Kind of like your GTA Online versus GTA Story. Let that be the next level where we can build up. We can, you know, keep the story going and do all those cool things that you do, the crazy world building stuff, but together. That'd be epic, bro. That would be amazing.
The game has legs. It's gonna take a long time to beat for a lot of people like myself, and I 100% agree. They've built such an expansive world here. This is easily the same way that they built a universe around Gears of War, around Halo. This is another franchise that they built a universe.
By the way, I love that you mentioned that. Okay, this is now a Microsoft first-party title. Okay, first-party Microsoft title. If I do not see at some point you entering some kind of wormhole and entering a world where you then interact with the Master Chief, they are a bunch of fools and cowards and they're not thinking ahead. If I do not enter some kind of wormhole and enter Gears of War and enter their world where I can see their ships and a bunch of meatheads are walking around in this world, they are losing the thread. They have of these disparate worlds together ready to go.
Let's not even go that far. How would you not be teleported to a Mars version of Doom with Doom guy there?
Exactly.
So it's literally right there. It's for the taking. You know, so I agree 100%. Okay, I think that's a good way to bookend the show. We covered Starfield, you know, as much as we could today, and I think that we had a good conversation about it, brother. And from the PC space, let me ask you now, what game do we have? Do we have an update on that? On the poll?
So as I suspected it would go. All right, close second was Heavenly Sword. So I'll keep that in the backlog. But the winner, The Ascent, ladies and gentlemen, The Ascent by 53%. So, you know, we'll work the logistics, myself and yourself, we'll work it out. And one of these days, whether it be the weekend or the weekday, we'll jump on here, you know, keep up with us. You know, you see our X handles on the bottom there. When we go live, you'll know, and you can jump in with us and we can play some Ascent, you know, most likely via Xbox or something, so you guys can jump in. More chance of people with Game Pass that has it. I think it might be on Game Pass as well.
Yeah,
so
I think
we'll play that as well. Ooh, and before we get out of here, I see the man Slow-Mo Backslap says,
come on,
he just stopped by to say that Sonic is a dead rat that was flushed down the toilet with blue toilet cleaner.
Why is Sonic living rent free? Why is Sonic living rent free in Slow-Mo's head? That's all I want to know. Okay, all right. Why is he running around in there in the little rings and his little brain?
Best kind of slander to leave off of, man. That's the best kind of slander. Holy crap!
That's awesome. We love you, Slow-Mo. So Kay, let the good folks. I think you already let them know you're going to be on Double Barrel Gaming's channel on this Wednesday, guys, 7 p.m. Eastern. Of course, the Gaming Circle podcast. And then, guys, like Kay mentioned, follow us on X, Twitter, so that as soon as you see that we're going to go live with The Ascent, we're going to do that. We want to spend time with you guys and, of course, play, and we can have a fun conversation there. If you want to slander Sonic a little bit more, which, I mean, if you do that, you have poor taste, but, you're in that Slow-Mo camp, so I don't know about that. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. We really appreciate everybody's interaction in the chat. Kay, you want to leave the good folks with any good words?
I think we're good, man. We're here, you know, we're having a good time, and I think we'll leave it off at going back into the Starfield. Have a good week, all.